Well, welcome to another little film, a little fly tying film in our series, Pattern of the Month. It's number 59. And to be honest with you, I have not been doing a lot of fly tying lately. It's been hectic and I've been casting and testing and casting, and we are now set to launch our company's first little set it's a complete set of single piece multi-density shooting heads for all our rods. Salar catch, and the team is thrilled. And I hope that you will like what you're gonna try shortly. We are looking at launching 1st of April, so ready for the season. Also good, I think, just a couple of days since the Norwegian government put their proposal on what to do with the season. And still, I think they are a bit stupid cutting down season like they do, even if it's not much, but on a few rivers. Better to just fish, catch and release. But I think this coming now is the first big step against catch and release in Norway, which is positive. I think the big fish are going to be let spawn in the river, and hopefully that will make a difference for the future. So okay, we're gonna do another classic fly. What fly to pick? And I picked today a fly that is very seldom seen on the rivers when you meet people, but it actually has quite a bit of influence on a lot of modern patterns. And most of you know, Håkan is one of my better friends, or my best friends. If I don't say that, he'll hate me, but my best fishing buddy. And you know, his temple dog flies, and his original temple dog is influenced by Dunkeld, which is the fly I'm gonna tie today. I would say Pahtakorva, which is similar, didn't come from Dunkeld that much. It came more from my Lawson, that came from a Thunder and Lightning. But Dunkeld is one of the patterns I tied. I actually tied it back in the 70s on small tubes and fished it too. And it's been in my boxes. Not one of the most popular flies in the end of my leader, but it's a really, really nice pattern. And I'm gonna tie it now, and we'll see. I'm gonna do it a bit differently, but okay, let's go then. I'm gonna tie this, and gonna do it on our orange tubing, our hot orange fluorescent one. And I'm gonna use, actually, I'm not that very often I do that, but I'm gonna, that cut away piece, get it straight here. I'm gonna do it on both medium and extra small to be the orange one. And you know, I'll pick I clean my desk. It was necessary, but now I don't find anything. You know, I picked the medium to be about half the length of the finished fly, or a little less. And I cut it on an angle, and I cut my extra small on an angle, and I put them together. And I make sure that the extra small slides quite far into the medium. I'm gonna tie with our 12-0 black one. Most of the classic flies are tied on black thread, and here, since I'm having quite a bit of dark material in the front, I will use the black thread. Okay, so I'll back down And the good thing with using the fluorescent thread is that you can actually, instead of putting some kind of tag or fluorescent part like we did in the old days when we tied only on clear tubing, I make sure that I leave about 5-6 millimeters. I do a tag with Mirage, and the Mirage is superb for picking up the color in the material underneath or around it. And as you saw, I don't back down the thread. I don't want any of the black thread to be under the Mirage, because that, when it gets wet, will be seen through. And you know, no salmon will take a fly when the thread is seen through the Mirage. So, but you know, if you can do it good, even if it doesn't matter on the fishing. Those of you following know that we're working with our own little tailing material we call tail fiber, but still not ready. Maybe I do too many things at the same time. Okay, let's do a little tail here. And I'll put it in, make sure it's not too long and not too bulky. Make sure it comes down on the sides, but not that much on the side. I want it to be spread. And if I want to taper it, I can taper a little bit afterwards. And cutting this, I cut it like this and not like that, just to make it disappear under the body. Okay, one of the cool things with this pattern is that it's got originally 2 small jungle cock tied in right on the side of the tail. And I'm going to do it the same way. Form it first. Start with the one on my side and tie it in so it's seen on the side. Maybe half the tail, or just reaching a little bit behind the tubing. And make sure to look from above so I get them even. And it's just a cool little thing. I don't think the fish will care, but just cleaning a little bit here. Then I do, like I do on the flies where I really want to copy a classic fly, I do a little butt. And since ostrich tied in like this is very vulnerable, I use dubbing. And I use our SSS dubbing. And I just form a little, put my fingers over, form a little black point like that. And then I'm gonna do body and ribbing. And in the old days when Håkan and I tried to find the best golden body material, we found it's a rescue blanket. Those of you who want to see it can see it on the film, on the Pahtakorva film, where Håkan ties together with me. And it's like a dark orange, very smooth and nice colored material. But I of course use our own one, use our braid, our hollow braid, Alta Gold, and I put the first turn and overlapping, and on an original Dunkeld, the whole body is made of tinsel, golden tinsel. But you know, I want my flies to taper and to grow to the front. I taper in wings, but also body. So that's what I do here. I take this, I can hold it up so it looks a little better there. I take this and I take a little bit of our gold dubbing, and I do regular SSS dubbing, Alta Gold. And changing materials here, I can actually make this body taper more than I can do with just overlapping our braid. So a little bit at the time. Takes a little time, but it's worth it to make sure that this material will also stay on the thread and on the fly. Work my way here to the front, keeping about 4 mil. And a little more. And as you can see, you go back and forth with the thread. It helps locking the dubbing. Don't use any wax or stuff, because wax melts on a really low temperature, and for sure your fly gonna end up in the car or somewhere where the temperature is too high and the wax will go away. Okay, so orange coxhackle. You know, maybe I can tell you that we've been discussing if the next one is going to be the last little film in this series, but I think we'll keep on doing this, but we will also do films on certain materials, and one is going to be on hackles. How to pick the right hackle, what hackle is good for different parts of a fly and different flies. So it will probably be a few more fly tying films coming. Okay, I strip this off and I tie it in underneath. The reason I tie in all my hackles like this underneath is that on the top we're gonna have wings and stuff, and start with one turn and then I back down, so in total I use 5 turns of hackle. Take the ribbing, spin it, and I spin it quite hard before I cross over. And pull it down. You need to pull it down into the dubbing and finish underneath. Few turns, take this and double it back and cut. If I double it, can't slip. And take this away. Okay, and then the meanest little brush, and brush this. Get some of these golden fibers to mix with my hackle. See, this is so mean, it takes my thread. Like that. Does it look good? I think it looks pretty good. More coffee. Okay, so I'm gonna put a little more flash on this, and I'm gonna do the Angel Hair HD Alta Gold, and I'll pick a few strands here. And it's a pretty neat way to have this on these little circular things that you can just swing it around and pick what you want. And I took too much, and I'm gonna take a few, and when I want to save those, put them on the table, they will be all over. But if you wet them, put them down, they stick together and you can use them for next fly. Okay, spread this about 1/2 centimeter between your fingers. Tie them in, about the same length at the tail to start with. 1 or 2 turns and double back. And again, if I double this, make sure they come down on the side. If I double them, they can't slip. And then I take my scissors and I pull and cut, making sure I taper this down to be different length. Maybe one is too low there, but easy to see when the fly is ready. Okay, so now I'm gonna do on the original fly, it's different kind of feathers in brown colors. And you know, I could do like to be honest with you, I do on most of these fly. I just take our Pahtakorva brown and I put it on. But I was going to show you, maybe say a little bit of brown. When it says brown, brown can be a lot of things, right? It's very different. And what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna pick a light brown and I'm gonna put the darker brown on top. Darker brown is more like the mallard brown color. And start with the wing that's not too long. Said it before, maybe it's the most important mistake people do, is to start with the first wing to be too long. Always brush it through, always pull it through like this to untangle it. If the first wing is too long, either the tapering is going to be, the drop form is not going to be right, or it will have a very long wing. Hold it wide and tie it in on the medium tubing. Few turns, make sure it's wide. Then cut off this and cut it quite close. Make sure to always try to keep it clean here when you tie in. Like that, wide. The fish sees it from here. The motion here is what counts. What's happening this way, it's not as important. I'll then do, this is a loose one here. I'll then do our nasty rusty one. Few strands. Tie them in. Same thing here, 1 or 2 turns and double back. Spread it down with your fingers so you get the shiny materials also to mix with the whole wing. And then taper, pull and cut. And we can fix that afterwards. Bad one there. Okay, so now I'm gonna do the rest of the wing, which is gonna be a lot darker, but it's better now to already here start hackling. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, the original pattern's got an orange cox hackle, and then it's got blue dyed guinea fowl. And actually today I'm gonna do something that I haven't done before. So, but I've been trying a little bit. But I tied with the pheasant rump a lot, and we're gonna take a burnt orange pheasant rump and tie in as a first hackle. This means this fly will get a longer hackle, more spay kind of hackle, and it will get a hackle that will swim and perform a lot better when it comes in the water. So I tie this in a few turns. Here I use our little plier, and they very often break in the bottom part here. And double 3 fingers and hold in the tubing and wind on the material. One turn at a time. Nice and slow. And then I'll cross over and secure this with 1 or 2 turns just. And I keep tension in the thread and tie this in. You can see now how this is longer. It's more like a spade kind of hackle. Since I'm gonna put on a classic half turbo, meaning I will divide the wing, divide the hackles with the last wing, I will also need to be careful when it comes to the last part. So what I do, even if I'm gonna do just one color here, I will divide it into 2 bunches of hair. The first one is going to be bigger, and the last one is going to be just a few strands. So I take this and I prepare it same way. Just untangle the fibers. Make sure it's smaller, but also longer. If I think I have too many of these long ones, I can take them away to get the right drop form. It can't be too few. See where I have it? Looking good, because I will put one more wing on here. And I tie that in. Make sure it looks good. When I cut this, I can take this and pull it a little bit before I cut it. I get a shorter piece here. A few more strands here. And I always complain about light when I tie like this, but it's like the light is coming from you and I don't see as good as I should. Okay, there we are. Now it's time for the second hackle, and the second hackle will move down, and it will move down on the extra small. And you know, let's look at these feathers. They're super nice, good looking classic feathers, but they are quite stiff. They don't move the way I want a front hackle to move. And what you can do, or what I'm gonna try to do now, I'm gonna take another color of the pheasant rump, and I'm gonna dye it with a pen like I've done here. Just put a little black in here, so I will get something that it won't look like the actual guinea fowl, but it will be a little bit similar. And when I had this idea trying this, I actually started with the bright blue one, and then I took one of the ones that are blue and not bleached before, and they are actually look more like the guinea fowl. So I took one of these and I striped it with a pen, and I'm gonna try and tie this in and see what you think. It won't look like the original one, but it will create a fly that swims a lot better. And You know, I normally say that the best looking fly is the fly in the corner of the mouth of a fish. So let's try this and see if we can do a Dunkeld that will swim better than with the original hackle. So one more, tie it in. This didn't break, so I don't need to work it with my hackle plier. Here we go. Make sure to get these turns to be right exactly where I want them. And the last one. The thing with the blue here and the blue with the black strands is that it's not bright blue. It's just a little duller blue like that. What do you guys say? I think it looks pretty good. Let's try this. And from here, I just take the scissor or my dubbing needle and I just split those a little bit, because I will tie in the last wing there. And I'm going to use the same brown, much fewer strands. Make sure to pick a piece that is long enough. And you can see I just take very few strands. And have to be careful so I can use the long part here. And I move it back so these strands are actually longer than the ones underneath. And I tie them in. And now I'm super careful with my thread. Like that. Just cut those, cut close. Everything here will be covered by the little cone. Okay, so I'll take a few of those. Try to find some that the tips are not broken. It's nice. Peacock is one of the feathers with natural fluorescence, and when you dye them, they shine really nice in the water. 3 to 5 normally, and I try to just split those between my fingers like this before I tie them in. Put them on as a little roof. Make sure they're just as long. And if I'm a bit lucky, they will not turn. They will stay like a little roof on top there. Looking good. Let's do one more. Normally I say that you need only 3 turns. 1 turn to hold the material and 2 turns to keep the tension on the thread. I don't know, but here we go. Looking quite okay. 2 jungle coat. And I normally use smaller feathers than most people, but I use them longer and move them back to almost half the length of the wing. I think the feathers are most beautiful when they are used full. Start with my side like this. Always cut in between. Here we go. take the other one. This was nicely formed, but I form it a little bit anyway, just to have it follow. Looking better. And pull out this part and cut it off. Does it look good? I think it looks pretty good actually. Then I can do like this. I can keep on pimping this by putting on 2 horns. And I do it with peacock. And this is the bleached peacock and the dyed blue. You know, this was on the classic flies. Most of them had the blue aura parrot, and they were a little stiffer, a little darker, but also remember that when materials get wet, they always get darker. So I take this, make sure they're about the same length, and I put it in right over the other one, right over the jungle coke there, like that. 1 or 2 turns. Cut it off. Need to see what I do here. Make sure it's quite clean here. Look at the fly. Does it look good? Looks pretty good. Time for a cone. Maybe I have a cone right here. I just sorted out my desk, and there's always some of these ones here. Now I'm gonna put this on, and I'm gonna secure it, everything with a little bit of glue. And be careful, don't take too much. I use support and I put a little bit of glue on there. And then I'll hold the wing and pull this down and press it down. Easiest way to press down the cone exactly where I want it is to do it when the fly is out of the vise. Looks pretty good. I'll take this, support on the finger, and do 3 mil here. And then, sorry, white lighter today, but I melt this down just carefully to secure the cone. Dunkeld. What do you guys say? I think it's a pretty cool fly actually. I put it underneath and I have a look and see maybe I have a little bit of tail slipping down here, and I look underneath and see if there are angel hair that are too long. I have one there, because I don't want the angel hair to tangle in the hook. Quite broad, pretty cool with the blue stripes, and the hackling will actually help doing a good drop form here and give this fly quite a bit more motion than the guinea fowl, I think. Is it this good looking? Maybe not. But will it fish better? Yeah, for sure. Okay. Classic fly. The Dunkeld. And nice colors for a lot of our waters with a bit of humus. And it influenced, for sure, flies that in modern times taken hundreds of thousands of salmon. And even the old flies was very successful on the British Islands. So, bit different maybe. Few small tricks and a fly that I think turned out the way that I wanted in my box. So, I hope you enjoyed it. And of course, you want to tie a Dunkeld. We do our pattern packs. If you don't want to tie them, but you want to fish them, we have the fly packs too. So just get on the site and have a look, and you will find everything there. And keep your eyes open. Soon they'll be here. We had a team that's been all over me on how happy they are on how these lines perform. So I hope you will like him too. And I hope you like the little film. And season is getting closer, so stay strong and tie on. And thanks for watching.